Today I'm going to be showing you how I made over 500 divines in a single day by farming, buying and crafting tablets. I'll be going over the strat that I used to self-farm hundreds of tablets, and then I'll be going over every mod combination that I actively searched for to make hundreds of divines extra, rolling the tablets myself rather than selling them at their uncrafted price. Tablet farming, it's gotten really popular lately, but actually rolling these tablets is something that I've been asked about a lot, so I'm making this video. As always, everything I talked about in this video will be in my docs, including the best tablet mods to look out for if you just want a quick summary on that. So first off, how do you actually self-farm tablets? When farming for tablets, it's important to know two things. Number one, tablet drops scale with waystone drop chance, and number two, tablet drops are reduced if you're using that same tablet to juice your map. So if I'm running an Abyss tablet, I will drop less of them. So if you cannot use league specific tablets to actually add league mechanics to your maps, how do you farm the tablets? Well, irradiated tablets add a random league mechanic to your map, whilst not reducing the chance to drop any of those tablets. Now this does mean that you cannot target farm only Abyss, only Breach, only Ritual tablets, and you're at the mercy of whichever mechanic the irradiated tablet gives you. And sometimes it can double up on one mechanic. For example, it can roll the temple mechanic twice, adding too many temple circles to your map instead of one, which is obviously significantly worse than adding, a big abyss or 3 ritual altars. But every single tablet in the game has some incredibly lucrative crafts, so farming all of them is still extremely good. So the strat summarised is you want 3 irradiated tablets. You can always use a 4th and run this on city maps, but it is not necessary. You will obviously notice a sizable increase in tablets dropped if you do, but it's not necessary. And you want to run these irradiated tablets with increased waystones rolled. Try and get a high roll combined with either monster effectiveness or additional map modifiers. Additional map modifiers, it can add waystone drop chance, and it's also just really good for general loot, but it is really expensive, and generally you want to keep the investment low, so effectiveness is probably the play here. For your waystones, you want at least 90% increased waystone drop chance. Just get a bunch of waystones, 6 mod them and corrupt them, and you will get a lot of these. You'll get up to like 130% pretty often, and run those. You do not need to buy them off of trade, they're easy to roll for. You then run these maps on the mountain biomes if you can to get this 50% increased amount of tablets dropped from the mountain mastery node, and you then run the map clearing all of the league mechanics. That is the strat. That is the best way to farm tablets in the game. Breach tablets drop at the end of Breach encounters. Abyss tablets drop from the monsters spawned from the abysses. Temple tablets drop from the chest at the end of the little circle encounter. Delirium tablets drop from Delirium mobs throughout the entire map, and Ritual tablets drop from ritual monsters that spawn on the altar. In about 30 maps ran on a combination of city maps and mountain maps, I dropped 20 Delirium tablets, 12 Temple tablets, 31 Breach tablets, 26 Abyss tablets, and 15 Ritual tablets. That's like over 110 tablets around about that, which is around 3 per map. I also made roughly 35 divines in other currency, since as you're running every mechanic, you're going to see stuff from desecrated currency to hive blood to splinters to liquid emotions. You're going to make a lot of passive currency from all of that too. The tablets uncrafted, they added up to 352 chaos, which is like 35 divines right now. So about 70 divines total is what I made from those 30 maps, and it's a very cheap, easy and quick strategy. I think the tablets cost like 50 exalts each the last time I bought them. It is really good. Now, the real money comes from actually crafting your tablets, and after I crafted these tablets, I believe I made an extra 40 divines on top. So how do you craft your tablets, and how much money can you make crafting them? Well, I bought a stash tab full of every single tablet, and I crafted them all to see how much money I would make for each type. I spent 24 divines on 144 temple tablets, and I made 41 divines profit from temple tablets, and nobody's profit crafting those. I spent again 24 divines on 144 Delirium tablets, and I made 48 divines profit on those. I spent 48 divines on 144 Breach tablets and only made around 18 divines. It felt very unlucky though. I I know Breach can have some crazy tablets and I just didn't hit any. I spent 48 divines on 144 ritual tablets and I made almost 200 divines profit. This is really lucky, but it can happen. Ritual tablets are insane right now, and I spent 50 divines on abyss tablets and I made around 35 divines profit. I made almost 300 divines profit combined from rolling all of these tablets. So first off, when crafting tablets, you want to transmutate and augment them to 2-mod magic tablets. You then want to check all of your 2-mod magic tablets for any good modifiers. For example, I crafted this a bit ago. Unique monsters have 1 additional rare modifier that rolled. You would then regal and exalt this, but if you didn't get any good modifiers, you would use an alchemy orb, and the reason that you're using this is it rerolls these 2 modifiers into 4 brand new ones, essentially letting you craft the tablet all over again. Once you have picked all of your good tablets, take your bad tablets not worth anything and 3-to-1 reforge them right here, and then identify them and slam them with an exalt if it does not have 4 mods. And that is how you craft your tablets. It is fairly easy, just, transmutate, augment them up to 2 mods. If you get a good tablet, regal and exalt it. If you get bad tablets, alchemy orbit. And if you still have bad tablets, come and reforge it. It is as simple as that. As for what mods to look out for, I will have a list in my Google Docs, but for temple tablets you are looking for uniques and your maps have an additional rare modifier. And if you get this with an increased amount of Vaal beacon unique monsters, that's like 45 divines right there. That is the jackpot. If you hit it on its own, it's still like 5 divines at minimum, which is pretty good considering the temple tablets are really cheap. You're also looking for the increased crystals gained, which can be worth 1 to 3 divines depending on the roll. And you're looking for map has 2 additional modifiers, which is worth a divine and can be worth a lot more with other juicing modifiers like rarity, effectiveness, increased waystones dropped. This is the case with every tablet, not just temple tablets. For Deli, and to me Deli seemed like the most consistent tablets to craft, and after the most recent patch buffed Delirium significantly, it might be even better actually, but for Delirium you are mainly looking for a combination of multiple modifiers, since it doesn't really have any one jackpot modifier. Any of the Delirium modifiers increase splinters, fracturing, mirrors, mirror shards, and unique bosses combined with each other, and any other generic juicing modifiers like random map modifiers, monster, rarity, effectiveness, etc. is where the money is with these tablets. For example, if you look here, fracturing, mirrors on its own is like nothing. Simulacrum, splinters on its own is nothing, but combined, that is 7 divines right there. Breach, I did not have a great time rolling these, which is funny because I think they're the most popular tablet to roll. It felt like I was getting really unlucky and it felt like I was losing money, yet I still made around 20 divines profit. With Breach, you're looking for a high amount of Hive Blood dropped, which will only really sell for like 100 exalts, but when combined with other mods could reach a divine or 2. The main money comes in the form of 1 modifier, and that is the unstable breaches in your map spawn 1 to 3 additional rare monsters when stabilised. On its own, these are like 3 divines with other modifiers like rarity, effectiveness, additional map modifiers. This can reach 10, 20, 30 divines. Essentially with breach tablets, just look for multiple generic juicing modifiers on the tablet, and the jackpot tablet includes the additional rares spawned modifier with these. Ritual, and this is my favourite one to craft, and I made 200 divines profit, almost crafting 1 full tab of them. That's over like 1 divine profit per tablet on average. This was extremely lucky though. The next day I did an entire quad stash tab of these, and I made 300 divines profit with 4 times the amount of tablets, so I clearly got lucky, but at the same time, in my eyes, ritual tablets are the best tablets to roll regardless. For ritual tablets, the big jackpot comes in the form of rituals have additional rerolls, which goes for around 17 divines, but combined with any other ritual modifier like increased chance for rituals to be omen, increased tribute gained, or reduced tribute used, this 17 divines can double or even triple. So that is the jackpot. That is how you make the big money with ritual tablets, but then you can make a consistent amount of currency by selling increased omen tablets either on their own with a good roll, or combined with other ritual modifiers like reduced tribute used when deferring and re-rolling. With ritual tablets, it's important to know that it's mainly ritual modifiers that brings the money, and it's not any of the generic juicing modifiers like with Breach or Delirium or Abyss tablets. You do not really care about any effectiveness or rarity here, just price check the ones that have a good combination of ritual modifiers themselves. Last but not least, Abyss tablets, and these are in my opinion the trickiest to price check because they don't really have a jackpot modifier that automatically makes you multiple divines on its own. For Abyss, you're looking for multiple of the following: 4 additional pits, increased chance for abyssal modifiers, increased effectiveness for each closed pit, additional rare monsters spawned from abysses, increased monster rarity, additional random map modifiers, increased rarity of items found, and monster effectiveness. Price check your tablets if they have 2 of these mods. Make sure to price check the rolls specifically, and if you get 3 of these modifiers, it's almost always going to be worth quite a bit of money. As for my personal recommendation for which tablets are worth crafting, evidently all of them if you have a high enough amount, but personally, if I was to craft tablets again, I would only craft the Ritual, Temple and Delirium tablets, because Ritual and Temple is easy to price check and Delirium is very consistent. I would not craft Abyss and Breach just because it can be a pain having to price check them, and they kind of sell for a pretty nice amount uncrafted anyways, so it doesn't feel like I'm losing out on that much by not crafting them. And that's the video. Again, everything will be in the docs. I had a lot of questions about tablet farming ever since I put it S tier in my tier list, with a lot of people mainly asking about crafting them, so I thought I'd craft every tablet to see if they are all profitable, which ones are worth selling uncrafted. You get the gist. In the end, yesterday I ran like 100 maps. I made around 200 divines from those maps. I crafted the tablets further and made an extra 80 divines. So close to 300 divines made from running this strategy and using my own resources, and then I made another 280 divines from buying more tablets and crafting them, so I made close to 600 divines in a single day from this. It is pretty absurd. Profitability will fluctuate, certain mods will weave in and out of the meta, so if something was a certain price in this video, it might not be when you watch it. But tablets should always be an insane money maker, whether you're farming them or rolling them at every point in the league. If you enjoyed, consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next video.